Zero Foxtrot does not profess to share or promote the opinions and beliefs expressed by show host or guests. The Stay Zero podcast was created to provide a platform for servicemen and women to share their stories. Due to the nature of this podcast, sensitive topics will arise. Conversations about combat, PTSD, drug use, and other such subjects will occur. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back to the Stay Zero podcast. I have Ryan Smith with me today. Thanks for coming in, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you very
You're
much.
a fire chief and marshal for Travis County.
Yes, sir. Travis County ESD 12, so Emergency Services District 12 out in the Manor area.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you do like canine work, but not police, it's fire.
So I canine for in our organization, so we do have a police department inside of our fire department. So we have a fire marshal's office, which is a Texas Commission on Law Enforcement agency. So we employ peace officers for that division. I am also one of them. So we follow the police. We just don't do patrol and such like that. But yeah, so we do. I don't do patrol in a patrol vehicle.
Yeah.
I have a fire apparatus, but it's not marked as police. But
Could you arrest people if
yes,
you had to?
So we're true peace officers, which means the full academy and approved by the Texas state to full arrest powers and such. So
okay,
a lot goes into that. So it's not.
How did you get involved with that? How long have you been with not Lake Travis, but Travis County?
Travis County ESD 12. I started. It used to be called Manor Volunteer Fire Department. I started back in 1998, straight out of high school. Did some state firemen and fire marshals association classes. Was able to get part-time paid and such. And then an ESD was created to get additional funding. So we transitioned over to that and full-time in that in 2008.
Wow.
And so I went through every rank as from volunteer, firefighter, engineer, lieutenant, captain.
Did y'all get incorporated by Austin?
No, so we're separate from Austin.
Okay.
So the Emergency Services District is a political subdivision of the state, so it has its own 5-member board, its own governing body, and it's able to assess taxes. So that's how we're funded.
Nice.
So, it's been there a while, and then we started having some major growth. So back in 2008 and 9, we were a pretty small department. Now with proactive board members and members of the organization, we're up to about 63 people. So relatively good size for a Travis County growing. ESD fire department.
Hell yeah. You're right outside of Austin, right?
Right out. We border the city of Austin, actually.
Right.
So our district does.
Yeah. How much growth have you guys seen in the last 10 years?
I will tell you, when I started out there, and we're talking about Manor area, Manor, Texas area, there was one flashing yellow light and 3 schools. Now you can't go about 100 feet without hitting a light, and there's 19 schools.
Yeah.
So the growth is exponential.
It's not stopping.
Not stopping.
It's just moving further out.
Yeah. The Austin is getting Austin's getting pushed out further into those areas in the rural, and now rural is coming into the suburban, urban area.
It's all
pretty quick.
Transitioning. That's
yes,
right.
sir.
Okay. So you do canine stuff. When did the department get big enough to hire a canine and need a canine? How's that work?
So we do fire investigations. A part of our fire marshal's office is all plans review. So I'll start there. It's plan review, meaning somebody wants to build, come in, we review the plan from the site work, which everything's moving dirt and underground fire lines and such like that. So then all your systems and trades, which it's your sprinkler system, alarm system, hood system, stuff like that goes into a building. So say like that's with the school. That division was started that way. So the prevention division was started.
Inspections and stuff.
Inspections.
Yeah,
so
right.
Yearly inspections on mom and pop all the way to the Walmarts, stuff like that. So as we started getting bigger and growing, in the area growing, meaning in populace, the fires still happen, and we're relying on another agency, and we weren't really getting the full, I guess, the full ride that we should have. So I went out a few years ago, 3 years ago, and talked to a lot of people that were running canines in the Houston area, Harris County area, asking about the benefit and such like that. So I went through an organization. I found a grant organization after doing some research on some of them. It's called caninesforcops.org. It's founded in Texas, out of College Station, and I was able to write a grant for a dog. Did the history of fires, what I was trying to obtain on, searching fires.
Told them the demand,
right? So what
was the demand? What is it that y'all are really using these dogs for?
It comes down to helping prosecute people that are intentionally setting fires, whether it be to their own property, to claim insurance, or say like revenge or something like that. The niche is very, pinpoint. The use of the dog can be wide, and then I widened it a little bit, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But you're going in and trying to find odors, and an accelerant dog, she's certified through the state of Texas in what's called NAPWADA, North American Police Working Dog Association, on 14 odors that are ignitable liquids. So by NFPA 921 standard from the fire department, she's technically called an ignitable liquids detection canine, but everybody calls it an arson dog or an accelerant dog.
Okay.
So we go in trying to find where potential a cause of, or origin would be for the fire. And what we're looking for, what I have her looking for, is one of those 14 odors that she would alert to. I know I've sped up through her whole process, but
sure.
Not all the time we find anything or something.
Yeah.
But I will try to run her on every fire I can, even a kitchen fire. It's just getting those sets and reps through her. I mean, a lot, again, back in the training with her, you did everything on a concrete floor. And now I take her with your fire history, that's not what you're walking into, right?
Yeah, no.
And so when she got imported from Poland at a year and a half, almost a year and a half old, she's only seen how she was treated in Poland, a crate in an airplane, and a cage when she landed over here in the United States, in a metal building. And that's all she's known. And so taking her from that and moving her into something else, it takes more than you would think of conditioning a dog to go into those areas. There were times that, pace setter in Liberty Hill did all her training. So you did all this in a concrete floor outside in grass, but then you take it to products of combustion and that smell, and
after a fire,
like, you know that, you and I know that, and you got insulation, you got walls, you've got burnt everything,
sensory overload,
right?
Yeah,
that, and taking her in that first thing she's ever, first time seeing that, it's like,
how did she react to that?
It was a dead stop in her tracks.
Oh wow!
I know she's smart. I know she knows what. I mean, we were already certified by that time. But even in the certification process, it's on concrete, it's on unburnt stuff. But taking her into that, it would be like you taking your mask off, walking in there for day one. We're talking about a dog that has between 10 and 100, so average 45 or 50 times the sensory level of a human going in that. When we talk about the olfactory system in a dog and what they're able to identify and break down, you go to McDonald's and you smell a cheeseburger, it's a cheeseburger, right? They go to McDonald's, the cheeseburger set in front of them, they smell every ingredient in the bun. They smell every ingredient and spice you put on that patty. They smell the lettuce
off the fingers of the guy that made it.
That's what they're smelling. And so
that's a lot.
You walking into that, and I said, I learned my lesson. It's like, well, we're going to have to start this a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Working into that is areas that were burnt, that we burnt and put in cans in a pile, and we just had her sniff around it. Again, she knows her odors. Then work on getting an odor in it.
Do the odors change after having been burned?
So yes, the hydrocarbons that are associated with them. So when we're talking about a burnt odor versus
So it's memorizing before and after.
So I do
She's
both.
Got 28.
So yes. So pretty much it does change products of combustion, by firefighting, that does change. However, the hydrocarbons is what sticks behind.
Okay.
So they're still there in a different form, in a liquid stage. So one drop we would put down, I would say she can get down to about 1/1000th of a teaspoon. So when you're talking about how much I would put in, say, this room right here, we got a 20 by 20 room, you would take a dropper, not even a dropper, a 1 millimeter or 1 cc syringe and do 1 drop on the floor, that's what she's going to find. And it can be sitting here 20 minutes, and that's what she's going to find.
Wow.
It's harder for her to find the gaseous state than the burnt state.
Really?
So because the evaporation evaporates fully. Once it's burned, it holds it's now into that product that it's burnt on, or it was. So that's basically the easier
having
part.
Been burned.
Right. Yes.
Wow.
So
wouldn't have thought that.
Going into those places and conditioning her to where, working and walking in all that mushy stuff, the carpet that's spongy, because, firefighters love to put water on everything, and there's a foot of water, is getting her to walk through those things. And now it doesn't matter. It's just the smell comes up, and now dogs work on association. That's why hand movements, I do sign language with her, so I don't have to say a word with her. I can and do, but still she works off sign language. Now it's just tell her to go to work, and it's boom, through the house she goes, and it's just running through rooms. So it meant those sets and reps, she's realized, okay, I've got to go through this to get my reward. And she is play reward. So there is a special toy that she gets rewarded on, and we play at a heightened level. That's the highest level that I will play with her, and the highest voice that I can make. That's what her drive is. That's what she wants, just to please you. Out. Oh yeah, that's all those dogs want to do. Actually,
it's really a great gift.
Really, it's not to please you; it's to make them happy, and to make them happy is to get that Kong, and they know what they need to do.
Sure.
There are times when they're being trained. That's called what they call a fake final. Is they try to trick you.
The dog does.
The dog does, because they're smarter than you. They're smarter than me. Ember's way
that's right here, you dumb human. Give me that ball.
Give me it. So that's why you do. But that's why you do so much training. And that's why, again, I use those areas inside houses that I know, not for a fact, but I'm pretty sure.
Keep her honest.
That I don't have any accelerant in there. So I will run her, and if she doesn't alert on anything, I will then have somebody else place it. Not me, because I don't want to have a bias going in there. Even though you place it and you don't want to know, you're going to probably gravitate towards where it is. I don't want to do that, because then my dog's learning my mannerisms.
That's a training scar.
Right. Yeah. And I have to correct that. I didn't do that in the beginning, and I was like, what is going on? Why is she acting like this? But understanding that it was what I was presenting to her, she was learning off of me, and I fixed that. So if I can do it blindly, say I have you go throw an odor in there, and you're just like, it is in this area, and we're running her through there again. Because I'm not going to search the unburnt area. I want that odor to be on that burnt section. Sometimes they do light it on fire again, and we bury it. So we'll run it in. She is trained to source, which means she gets a latent odor, she's going to go to the heaviest odor. And in dogs' nose, I don't know if you know how it works, but each nostril operates independently. And that little flap that you see on the side of the dog's nose, when it exhales, that's where the air's going outside. It's pushing to the outside of the nose. So just to watch the dog's face work, with the eyes and the ears and the nostrils and the nose working on trying to get to that odor. So a right sniff is to the right side, not us, where we would be like, well, it's around here somewhere. And you do that. So she would come into an area, do what's called an air sniff. And then those nostrils start working to see which way she has to go. It comes down to when in testing, they put a 10 by 10 rug down, probably a little bit bigger than one you have here, with 1 drop in it. And what we do is we get a washer, a 3/8 washer, and the circle inside where the nut or the bolt would go.
Yeah.
We're gauging our dog's nose, where exactly that is on that. Last year, I was a 1/4 inch away from where that was. But what we're doing is we're taking samples up to a gallon. So what I'm doing is I'm pinpointing a 3/8 hole by watching her and acknowledging how she works and how she positions her face on an odor to where it is. And what they do is they'll drop it down on the ground. They'll put a pin in it and flip the thing over. They got it marked on the back where it is to see how close you can get.
That's pretty impressive.
They also put them on, there's 3 or 4 rooms. They can have one odor. They can all have odors. And you have to do the same for every one in those rooms. So if you go in the room, they'll run and run back out. Probably didn't have anything. With your training, you would know that there was nothing that caught the attention of, your dog.
What are some of the common compounds? What are people mostly using when they're, is it gasoline?
I think if you light a fire, what are you going to use? The cheapest stuff available, right?
Probably, yeah.
So, or the most...
Whatever's readily available. Yeah.
So,
gas or lighter fluid.
Right. So without going through all of the stuff, it's the gasoline and the lighter fluid and basically the basis of fingernail polish and such. So you're going to...
Fingernail polish. Huh. I guess so.
You're
acetone.
Like acetone.
Yeah.
So you're going to take what's most readily available. There are other things that are extremely flammable, but it's just not realistic to train one of these dogs on because, I mean, an experienced arsonist, I will go down that route, will probably do something different in a lot of ways to trick you. So,
what are some of the misleads that you've caught people trying to do?
You can light bulbs.
Light bulbs?
Yeah, so gasoline and light bulbs.
In a light bulb?
Yes.
So once it loses the vacuum and you flip it on, it then burns the element and lights the gas.
Right. So
does that blow out the light bulb?
Yeah.
And then just throws fire all over the room?
Yes, sir.
Damn.
I've seen some, we're talking about
and they thought that would mislead you? Yeah. Like you wouldn't know that there was just gas all over the room? Or wow, that's interesting.
So, I mean, sometimes that gets utilized in meth labs and such like that as a deterrent as you go in and flip the lights on. So we don't do that, but we don't turn any power on.
Booby trap.
Yeah, it pretty much is. However, that's possible for somebody setting it up for somebody else to do it, turn a light on. And I don't know, it just did an explosion happen. And, technically that person did intentionally set that house on fire, whether they're there or not. So
the person who set the light bulb out.
Yeah. So then you have to do research and stuff on that. Seen coffee makers messing with the elements in coffee makers. That's not using
the timer, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and the heating element. And then you could put stuff in the coffee pot or in the base itself. Stove stuff. So she does not. An accelerant dog or a nightable liquids dog will not do butane or propane.
I was curious about that.
But they would mimic it being on a stovetop with an accelerant.
Pouring gas on the stove.
Yeah, or something of that type on the stove.
Is it usually insurance fraud? Have y'all seen a lot of...
I'd say it's about 50-50. Well, no, I'd say it's like 30, if I could do that. 33 and a third.
Yeah.
The revenge one's pretty high.
Really?
And then it's insurance. Those two are pretty close, and then the last one would be just I don't want my stuff and don't care. Wow.
Revenge, huh? That sounds kind of exciting.
Yeah.
What kind of revenge cases have you seen?
I have.
Can you talk about?
Well, one of my most recent, I can't, but it was basically, I won't mention where it is, but it was a car in a lot that this individual didn't got an argument with either the past employee or whatever, and got a little bit of the car involved and such. And cars are interesting when it comes to dogs and such on doing that.
I mean, there's an accelerant naturally there all the time.
So me as an investigator, so we'll go with that one first, the cars, and because people are like, well, there's gas everywhere. Us as investigators is one, looking for any recalls on the car. As we're working on, before we even start looking at it as recalls, then you do.
What are you looking at recalls for?
So if it was like a fuse box, okay. So like the old Fords, 08, 09 Fords, there was a brake booster issue that was powered and it had a short and it would always catch on fire there. Well, brake fluid is not one of her odors, but other odors were present.
Yeah.
But when we talk about what we're looking for is, now I need to know where the fuel rails run in that truck, because she is going to alert on if a fuel rail is busted, but there should be no pump working. But any drop, remember I told you I could put it
shouldn't be in the passenger seat, right?
Right. Yeah. Or the floorboard or the door jamb. So those things, we did a car in up north. So we do help about 5 counties and 19 departments, police and fire. I'll get to the police portion here a little bit. We did a car from an up north department, and it's a very expensive car. They knew the history on it. I just tell them, don't tell me what. I don't want to come in with a bias. I have a job to do. And, well, I have to drive my dog to the scene because I'm just a chauffeur. But she has a job to do. Again, I don't want to know, as I told you before, I don't want to know what they know because I want her to work and me not provide her any, shuffle my feet one way. That's why we just keep moving. We don't stop until they stop. And if they don't stop, then we're good. And we just go off and do whatever. But there was an area that, she alerts, jumps on the motor and alerts on it. Is she wrong? I would say no, because there's an odor, one of those 14 odors is present.
Yeah.
She's finaling on for a reason.
Yeah.
It's paying her out, which is her toy. Do whatever, play with her a minute, and we go back to work. We continue past that and move around. We found some other areas, and I said, we're going to have to rule this one out. And I told him the CID officer, I said, I'm going to write that I cannot conclude that area is conducive to how this actually happened, because there is a fuel rail that runs right there.
Yeah.
She's not wrong.
Right.
But with my training experience and with her, that is not what you're looking for.
Right.
Now,
the context.
Right.
She's just looking for smell.
That's all she is.
Right.
She's just working for that dang toy. Could somebody have poured something on there and said, yep, I'm going to do this? Quite possibly.
Yeah. And if you knew ahead of time, could that bias be used against her evidence in court? That the handler knew where to tell her to look?
It could possibly, but I am on a track record that I will never have them tell me now that we've got this set. There's some of them that say,
the sample size the moment you do it, right?
We have a potential of arson fire on a car, blah, blah, or a house. Okay, that's all I want to know.
Yeah.
I'll do my own assessment with my training and such, 14, 15 years with doing that as an investigator.
Yeah. And
I will go from there and
that's the right way.
Discuss my scientific method with you, or my hypothesis, technically a scientific method, and what I will do with Ember and running her through there, and then, work my way from there. So if we find nothing, I still do an investigation, meaning, she's a tool for the toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
I meant a relatively expensive tool for the toolbox. That's why we share her with so many people and agencies, because it's not when I say it's that niche that you find, there's only about 18 dogs in the state that do accelerants. So it's not as predominant as you would think, as like a police department having 2 or 3 patrol dogs for narcotics.
Yeah.
And those narcotics dogs, not to knock them, however, they're only like on 4 odors and 5 if you add marijuana in it. So they do a lot of training, as we do a lot of training as well. So constantly.
So do y'all loan the dog out, or they loan you and the dog, and you
dog.
kind of service and help?
So I am her only handler.
Oh, okay.
And have been her only handler since she's brought to the United States.
Wow. How has that changed your day-to-day life?
Oh,
it's like having a partner/child.
I would say you just said you had a younger,
I do.
6-year-old, right?
I do.
So remember when he was 2?
I do.
Okay, so now remember when he's 2 and you take him to work with you every day. You go to the bathroom and he sits on your feet. You go to the kitchen to make something to eat and he's grabbing your leg that you now need to take outside to go to the bathroom. And you're deciding, well, I need to go to the grocery store. What do I do with him? So you have a vehicle that's outfitted to hold your kid, I understand, my kid, in the back, in a cage, and you go to the store, or you put her in a cage in the house.
I need to get one of those cages.
I don't know if they do that for people, but
get my truck outfitted.
Yeah. So, put your kid back there, but it's a lot of work. And for somebody, I've had previous search and rescue dogs, but I will tell you, Ember is a Mal. She's 3 years old, a little over 3. Her 3rd birthday was February 3rd. 3 years old. A Mal is very, very high energy. Mm-hmm. It's like you throw the ball for 10 minutes with a Mal, they're still at 100%, or they're at 100%. You throw it for an hour and a half, they're still at 100%. It's basically on and off.
Yeah.
It's go, 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 go. Doesn't want to sit still. And anytime you get up, they're right there. I have a different relationship with her inside of my house, meaning she is not caged up all the time. I did that in the beginning to get her off of biting stuff, chewing on stuff, which was very quick. She learns very quick. I do let her free roam, but it's never out of my eyesight, meaning she won't go anywhere that I am not. She will always follow me where I am, if that makes sense.
Sure.
I can go around a corner. She can't see me. Boom, she's up. I've got to go find him. Doesn't matter. I can be standing there. Say I go in the bedroom, fold clothes. I'll go in there, just lay down right beside me. So I think with my friend, I do have lots of friends that have some accelerant and patrol dogs. She's unique. A lot of the patrol dogs, they stay in cages all the time, and because they're male, so that testosterone is way up there. Of course, Ember's a female, and it's a little lower. She still wants to work all the time. So training every day with her, saying that lifestyle, getting up early, doing some sort of obedience, trying to throw an odor or two in an area that's different. Yeah. So we're not always training in a backyard or not. You have to find places that areas are different to the dogs. You get to association again. Like I can go back out to the pace setter where she was trained. As soon as she sees that building, it's like nonstop. She knows, oh, that's where I get my reward. I know I know I got to find something there. So I want to alleviate that high anxiety for her to do that is, keep going to different areas. So when you're saying like what's changed, everything.
Yeah.
I meant can't go out of town. You can. She has very bad separation anxiety, and most of these police working dogs in general do, because again, I go back to the 2-year-old with you every day. She sits within a foot of me in my truck all day long. In my office, she's got a bed right next to my desk to where she can see me. I learned that the hard way. I needed to move it to where she could see me. Or
you're their connection to the world, right?
It. Right. And so it's 100% lifestyle change, and you need to go out of town for something. You're like, well, how long? How many days? What do I do with her? I'll tell you, I've only boarded her twice in a year and a half. Very bad separation anxiety for her and me, but didn't want to eat.
How long would you leave her for?
First time I only did 2 days, and the second one on the third day, I was like, I got to get her picked up.
Really?
Yeah, wasn't bad. It's just not eating right and stomach upset. And as soon as she sees me, it's all right. I'm back. So it does change a lot.
What's your relationship with her like?
I love it, and I wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best friend.
That's my partner.
Yeah.
And
man's best
I go back off to reading body language, man. I'll tell you, I have some crappy days. And she knows it, and she just comes and sets her head on my leg if we're in the office. And then the puppy dog eyes, you know how those go, and it's like, oh man. But it's that.
There's a real connection there.
That companionship.
Species.
Yes.
It's fascinating. I had a German Shepherd for 14 years.
Along the same line.
And the first 6 months of her life, I had just gotten out of the Marine Corps and was home. I was doing some school, but I was able to be with her for 6 solid months. And yeah, man, nothing breaks that. It's a great experience.
I have her on a camera. I mean, I'm that dog dad, right?
Where's she right now?
She's in my truck. I don't have her on the camera, but I don't have a camera in my truck that is on her, but she's fully monitored out there. So there's monitors there's 4 different monitors that monitor temperature and everything in that truck for her. My alarm will go off. My phone will get my alarm on my truck, which means all my sirens, my lights, if it's out of that parameter. So if your scale is here and this is that comfort zone, anything above or below, it sends the alarm, siren to go off, lights to go off, and I get a text that something's not right.
55 to 85. Outside of that, the dog needs help.
So say it's hot or cold, messes with the air conditioner or the heater, rolls the windows down. It's got an exhaust fan in the door. Wow. So the window goes down and there's a grate, of course, but then there's a fan that will quickly eject air out of the cage.
If we could do that with kids, we could probably leave them in there while we're shopping.
I'd say my dog is better than a kid, but I have more luxury than that. Yeah, just sitting there writing the note that says my kid is in air conditioning.
Be back in 5 minutes. He's fine.
I left at this time o'clock. Yeah, he's fine. He's got water. just fine.
I left him with the dog.
Yeah. Yeah. Babysitting for sure.
That's awesome, man. I haven't, as I was kind of contemplating like what to do with my life, like the cop thing obviously came up. I was a service guy. So, and the only thing I could think that I would want to do is have a canine. That it just sounds like the ultimate partner. And because I guess a lot of guys are by themselves while they're out working the job. So to have that connection and that buddy with you, I'm sure it's a lot of work too, though.
Yes, it is. You know, and doing both, you know, the fire side and the police side, and then helping other agencies get into canine programs, which I do. I've done quite a few. Get in those programs. It's like I want to be a part of that and help your handlers actually be in your interview process so that what I see and stuff. Again, I'm no expert. I know this much out of a.
What kind of screening did you go through in order to become the handler?
Well, with our organization, I actually didn't pick myself. I picked somebody else, and my board said, "No, we really would like it to be you." And I was like, "Well, you know, that takes a little bit off, or adds a little bit more on my plate, and takes off the stuff that I really need to be doing." But I said, "I'll give it a shot." But again, I didn't want to select myself. I had somebody selected.
Did you have some personal interest in doing it? Yes. You just felt like it was self-serving to pick yourself?
Yes, sir.
So were you kind of a little bit happy that
I was kind of like, all right.
Hell.
And then,
that's cool.
So in that, with the grant, it was donated, a single individual donated the money through Canines for Cops to allow me to get the dog, or to get Ember. Her name really wasn't Ember when she came over. But so they review the applications. Like, say you want to sponsor an organization and there's 50 applications, you can pick the ones you want to look at, read them, call them, talk to them, you know, what you want to do. You're like, okay, this is who I want to pick. Well, that definitely happened to us, and forever grateful for that. And then that process goes through, and then as the donor for that, they are able to change. So her name when she came over is Katie, or Katai is how they had it. But the sponsor wanted to change it to something along the fire line, so that she changed it to Ember.
That's cool.
Pretty early on. So I was like, that's pretty good.
Name.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's awesome, man. And so we've gone over some common types, motives, attempts to mislead. Do you get to interact with the guys very much at the stations?
So I'm stationed.
Are you kind of on your own out there investigating?
Okay, so I am the fire chief still with the organization. So I still have an operations, prevention division, admin, you know, PIO and such like that. So I do interact with them. So when it comes to operations side, I personally don't, I would say on a daily basis, interact with them. I have a chief that does that.
Yeah.
But we will go out and play. Everybody that we all work together knows Ember.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, "Oh, hey, Ember," you know, and some of them, they'll come by, drop off some stuff or some treats and such. But I get her out in the community as much as I can and socialize with our individuals, because it's a little bit easier talking to, say, one of my firefighters there, "I need you to do this, don't interact," and working with that training than finding somebody else, or,
sure,
you know, "Hey, I need you to do this." And they're like, "Oh, okay," you know, but it's, you know, trying to just be passive. So we have I've gone over with them all on, if she walks up to you, do not reach down and pet her. She's not going to bite you, but I just don't want her to think that she can get a reward from you and blah, blah. If she comes
what is the etiquette when people come up to you? Just ignore the dog?
I will tell you that non-dog people, or people that have dog pets, will 100% reach out.
Yeah.
On these dogs, you do not want to do that, because you would see a lot. And I can, like, if I had Ember, I could set her up for failure and show you what happens and how a dog would react. The ears go back, the eyes pick up, and they're wanting to defend themselves. Their head is very, very vulnerable. In these dogs, not necessarily Ember, but in the patrol dogs, that's a bad situation to get in for them, because that is all their mechanism of work, and you're now in their workspace.
Yeah.
So what I've taught, even when I go to other agencies, before I even bring Ember out, you can be around if she comes up to you, you act like she's not there. She's not going to jump on you, nothing, but you're not to reach down and touch her. She will not bite you. It's just all her praise needs to come from me. And they're like, okay. And so same thing in our organization. She runs around, goes through the fire, jump in the fire trucks, the battalion truck, she'll jump in, sit in the front seat, walks around people.
Dogs just improve the morale of everything.
Does. She does. We go to meetings and she just lays there on the ground. Although I'm trying to find a toy that she doesn't chew up, that doesn't squeak so loud. Like she doesn't do squeakers. It's all hard
Squeaks
rubber.
on her teeth, the rubber,
Yeah, and I do brush her teeth. Yeah. Well, she'll destroy those Kongs. So we use what's called a
brush her teeth
go nuts.
With a toothbrush? Yeah. How does she like that?
Oh, it's a process, right? You can't just go straight into a dog's mouth. It's just starting to work with rubbing her gum. Yeah. So while she's laying down is just get inside of her gum and rubbing her teeth with my finger with nothing on it, then work with the product on there so that they have a dog toothpaste and then just rubbing that. And so she'll want to lick it because it's something different and then just rub it around more. And that's like months of doing that. Then
every
you work
day?
Like every other day.
Okay.
And then you work to put the little sleeve on you, like you have for babies.
Yeah.
With the little plastic, and then doing that at the same time, starting on the outside of her jaw. And so it's like, oh, what's that? And it smells different. So you got to
one I have at home has a button that vibrates on the back. You got one of those?
No, I don't. No.
Try one.
No, don't drive those. But then working on the flexible ones and then getting the toothbrush with nothing on it.
Okay.
Running around her gums.
Desensitization.
Yep. And then now she can just be laying down and just scrub.
Wow.
And and then I can do her tongue now too. So she actually likes it, which is weird.
That's pretty cool. That's weird. What does she do? She come up to you to stick her tongue out?
No, she'll just lay down and it'll go off to the side and I'll just,
no
watch
reaction.
it too. Yeah, no, she doesn't care. So it just
kick her legs?
No, it like a lot of those things. It just what that step needs to be or what that final product of what like. I want to be able to brush my dog's teeth. How do I get there? Every step is a win to the dog until you reach your whole step. So some of this stuff is, it takes a while. And I'll put in for instance, we did. When I say we were on the 14 odors, so we also do gun parts and smokeless powder out of the necessity of shootings, trying to recover shell casings and running through schools before I was able to help get the ISD a dog in the school. So going down the hallway with kids, again, our canines that are working canines, especially like police departments and us with the fire department, police department, are technically sworn officer. She wears a badge that says investigator and everything. There was some times that she was intentionally kicked and ears pulled and such. So we had to say this is an officer. You're basically assaulting an officer. This was a school, middle school, high school.
The kids were doing this.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
So that got sent out. And so as we're now going down the hallways, she's sniffing backpacks. And as people walk by, there was a time one of the first times I found a kid that she alerted on the backpack and she just kept wanting to move and move and move and move. And I'm like, I got to get her to stop moving. Here, sit. It's all in Czech. So I'm just saying it in English. So you know what I'm saying? So it's like, sit, and telling her to stay. But then people were still coming by. And now I'm having to hold her with my hand. So I'm getting to the point is I needed to be able to control her in that environment when I've got 30 kids walking past me very fast so I'm able to use both hands. So I taught her what in English is middle. So she has to come between my legs and sit down. So now what she does is comes and just looks straight up at me and in my crotch, in the head straight up, and I can pinch her with my knees. I've tried to get her to, had other people to get her off me, meaning I'm trying to see how well I can hold her in that scenario. I can still hold her and have use of both of my hands if I need to. So I've controlled my dog. So again, teaching her that process of what the action I need her to do and to stay there. Mm-hmm. I know I wanted her to get right here. This is about the only option I can do that helps me. But what's the steps I get there? Associating words and then sign language. Now I can just say her name, do a quick little gesture, and boom, she's right in between, sitting down between my legs and basically my guard.
Wow.
I can have her bark on command. So if somebody is doing something, she's got a word that barks, not bark, but I'll tell you it's funny. Well, I won't say it, but so she can bark, and she's very intimidating in that position. And so it helps in that aspect that I need that. So that's not her main role though. So, but I needed to be able to recognize what I needed her to do in that scenario, then also protect herself. Wow. So able to accomplish that. No issue since then. Kids leave the dogs alone.
Most of dog training, to my understanding, is really training the owner.
Yes.
And talk to me about the process of learning how to do this, how to train your dog, how to train a dog to do these sorts of things. Because most people are like, give them a Cheez-It. If they don't figure it out, fuck it. Like,
are you talking about all the way from the odors?
No, I mean, I know you probably, were you involved in training her with odors, or was that what she learned in?
She learned that here in the United States.
Okay.
I had the privilege of just living a few miles from that facility, and probably bothered them too much of going and watching her and filming her and seeing what she does and watched how they do it.
Was that your education on what they were doing? Like, have you been winging this since you were assigned, like how to train dogs?
No, I had other dogs that I did stuff with.
This isn't your first dog?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, sir.
No, you're good.
I was saying man.
It's 2024, right? It could be anything.
It does take a special person, and I say, and sometimes in agencies, you're like, I want to do dogs. No, I don't want to do dogs. And the chief or the head person is like, you're going to do dogs. I think you're going to do a dog. And that match isn't just there. There does have to be a special drive, like the trainers that train these dogs. Man, they're awesome freaking people. I mean, blow me away. I still sit and watch them. I do decoy work and stuff for them, and watch how they do training and watch how they do decoy work. And it's like, it is an art on how to do that. I'm not proficient. I feel that I've trained my dog very well. I've helped people with obedience trainings for their dogs, but it's just those baby steps that you have to do. And when you're talking about learning it in the beginning, quite a few years ago, 20 something years ago, it's just reading books, and it's evolved. And then it's timing. You know, when we're talking about odors or even the movement, if I need her to get on my left side, and as we're learning, it's, she's play reward, but I do use little pieces of food to entice a dog to do what I need it to do. It's that step. If I need her to get to my left side, we're going to work on this left side, but I'm going to associate it with the name of whatever I'm going to do. Like her heel. It's not heel, but it's in a different language, but it is called a heel. Is to keep moving her over to this side and reward her. Now she's getting this hand gesture associated with a word. Now we're going to go a little further, and we're going to add something else. So if I do a sweep and a turn, I need her, I know I need her tail end to start turning and line up with me. So I'll keep doing this, and any movement in the right direction goes to the point that I do the gesture. She does exactly what I want, and I don't give her a reward. And she's like, oh, what do I do now? Now I'm adding something else in there, and just keep building and building and building to where now I can just put my hand beside me, not even say a word, and she'll come over and position herself. She'll be, if I'm standing here, she'll be kind of off center, and she will just reposition and sit right back down and know right where she needs to be. I know the show we're on, but it's a complete mind fuck on the dog and you. The dog's trying to outsmart you.
Really?
Yeah. So it's going to say, well, I'm doing what you want me to do. Just give me whatever I want.
Feed me.
Yeah. And so when we're talking about training and mindset of a handler, again, I go back to your world completely changes, and that dog, you're that dog's life. Just like your 6-year-old.
Yeah.
I've got my 2-year-old or 3-year-old canine. I'm her life. I'm the only one that feeds her, takes her to the vet, stuff like that. Yeah. She eats on command. I know that's, everybody's like, you don't let your dog eat? Nope. You can throw a hamburger on the ground. She won't touch it. She'll look at it, sit down and look at me, because it's that contact. So
this motherfucker won't let me eat that. I know.
Right. So, but when you go out in public, when you're starting to associate, the dog's going to try to protect, especially these types of dogs that are bred this way. They're very protective. You start walking up to me, it's that, she's going to bow up a second. in the very beginning, that's how she was. She came and attacked me, came up her leash, bit me and such. So you have to establish that dominance. I am the alpha. She may think she was.
How did you establish that dominance?
I basically got body slammed.
Did you mount her?
Yeah.
I used to do that.
It's basically over the shoulder. And then PETA people would be like, can't do that, but I don't need to get bit up.
Yeah.
But since that point, she has never, ever done that again. But it's like, how do you associate people? I know I need you to be able to walk up next to me with her.
Yeah.
But it's that part that you're 20 feet away and she's already staring you down and try to get you to come to 8. And now she's trying to go to you. That's not what she needs to be doing. So we reinforce she is supposed to be sitting here in the check-ins with me as you're walking towards. That's my dog. That's not a patrol dog. Patrol dogs are different. So don't confuse my.
Are your children this disciplined?
Probably when they were younger.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're very structured. Good. They're very structured.
Yeah.
Kids were, yeah.
How has the dog had an effect on your family life?
Everybody loves her. Yeah. Like my mom, she's like, oh, this about Ember and this. And so it's like she's like, that's my grand dog. So instead of grandkids, it's my grand dog. So it is cool. Everybody always asks about her. She's basically a family member.
Yeah.
So goes everywhere. Again, all the birthdays, the holidays, it's there. She's there. Dress her up funny.
Is your wife okay being number 2?
I'm not married.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I could see mine like, this fucking dog. You're going to put that dog in the truck and you're going to go on a date with me now.
Yeah. It is hard nonetheless to fight for time in any reason, capacity. And
I bet.
I mean, my youngest, we went to lunch with her, supper with her, and her soon-to-be husband, or her fiance right now. And she's like, I bet you got more pictures of your dog than I do. And I was like, or of Ember. And I said, yeah, you're right. I pulled open my phone. I have like 6,000 pictures of Ember. And I was like, oh, you got about 300. And she's like, that is horrible.
Does she have her own Instagram page yet?
She does.
Does she?
Yeah, it's Facebook and Instagram. It's k9.ember, E-M-B-E-R.
Nice. I'm going to have to follow her.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We put a lot of, used to do a whole lot of content. I try to do a few a week. But when we run cases and such, there's a lot of stuff I can't post because it's still active cases. So,
right.
There's some that I've put on there that were pretty quick. There's some other ones that we'll be adding on there in the next few weeks. They're going to prosecution and such, so we'll be able to share those. So it's really cool to. I still get goosebumps even right now, just watching her work and do her work, and then when she alerts and how happy she is. And even if she doesn't, we still play, just not at that level I was telling you, with the highest voice I can get and all that interaction and touching and, wrestle. It won't be that high. She still did what she was supposed to do, but that reward, that full reward, is what she's looking for.
Yeah. Are there any lessons you think you've learned from being a dog handler? How to work with an animal? That bond and that interspecies connection that you've made or that's applied to your life with other humans?
I would say, to some people, animals are their family. They always tell us, as with these working dogs, they're not pets and they're not your family. They're a tool for the toolbox. However, we're human, and it's always going to be there, that you're around that so much that they become intertwined with you. So when it comes to like lessons or even to pass on, it's just basically it's having a human with you
that doesn't talk back.
Well, she's mouthy.
Oh yeah.
she'll bark at me. She doesn't bark much, but if she wants a pet,
you can tell when she's talking shit.
Yeah, and she gets snarky, or she's got some sass. Like, we'll be riding. I leave her cage door open a little bit sometimes, and I'll look back, and then she'll just be reaching her paw out. She just wants me to pet her. And I'm like, well, we can't do that. My arm doesn't bend that way. Or we get to a stoplight. She comes up on the center console and just lays her head on my shoulder, and I'll scratch her ear a little bit. And she feels the brake pedal come off. She's like, goes back and sits back down. Yeah, she lays down in there pretty well. So it just does change a lot. And, I wouldn't give it up. She goes on almost every vacation with me, and she doesn't like riding in trucks.
Really?
I know it's odd.
You do it all day. She doesn't like it.
I think she gets a little lethargic sometimes. Like she's like, oh, well, we're going. And maybe she's compressing stuff. But when we stop, she's like, oh, over here.
So try balancing this guy driving.
Yeah, he can't drive for shit in a 3/4 ton, diesel,
bouncing around the road.
Yeah, that does.
I remember growing up seeing farmers with like blue healers on their toolboxes.
Yeah.
You remember that shit?
I do, and I still see it.
Driving around, how the fuck does that dog stay on that toolbox?
I am trying to work where she stays on a Kubota or a 4-wheeler.
Oh, that'd be cool too.
Well, I'm trying.
Yeah.
So I can get about 4 feet and off she goes. And that brings me to the elevators. Remember me telling you she's only seen what she's seen in the cave?
Yeah.
So I was like bebopping, went to a hotel, walked on the elevator because the doors were open. She walked with me.
Oh, okay.
The whole back was glass of the elevator. As soon as we started, the up started, I have never seen that dog jump around so much. But this was in the first 3 weeks that I had her.
Yeah.
We had to go to a conference.
Total acclimation.
Man, it was pop, 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 pop off every wall. Well, all the wall, but the glass one. The doors came open. She shot and sat against the wall. Still trying to get her on an elevator to this day.
Oh, she hadn't gone back on one since.
So now it's the ding and the sliding doors that she is now associated with that. Even if it's a solid back, it's the slide ding. It spurs something nope.
Wow.
And doesn't like brooms.
Okay with vacuum cleaners.
Vacuum cleaner. I can put a blower on her to dry her off after I give her a bath.
I did that with my Shepherd. Anytime I'd give her a bath, I'd air dry her off. She loved it.
She just sits there. But a broom, I could just touch the broom. Just goes to tear it up.
I wonder why dogs do that.
I don't know.
Let's go crazy.
Tried. Actually,
like, you know how long it took me to make this floor messy?
Yeah.
You fucking cleaning it up.
What was actually not funny, but funny is the first time I found that out, it was a gentleman, an elderly gentleman walking by with a cane, and she about attacked his cane. And so I broke her of the stick. So I can take the stick.
Yeah.
Hold on a stick, do whatever. As soon as it's a broom, it could be the same stick. I just unscrew it from the broom bottom. As soon as it's attached.
I think my wife has the same thing. She don't like to sweep either.
I don't know.
Won't touch a broom.
Don't clean up my mess. This is my fur.
That's right. She's like, it took me all day to get this mud right how I wanted it.
Oh, and that's another thing. Just be prepared to vacuum your house every day, dude. Or sweep, everything in the
I haven't got another dog since losing my other because we're just like enjoying the era without dog hair.
Purifying fan.
Oh man, dude.
She don't stink. Don't get me wrong, but I'll tell you, after every fire I do a full decon on her.
Yeah.
She uses
what do you wash a dog with for that?
Charcoal soap.
Charcoal soap.
So a company called Flame Decon made a product for her, sponsored her back in the day.
Nice.
They had it for humans, and we were using. I contacted her and I said, I think I need something for my dog for this because it has a. For the human side, there's of course little different ingredients, but it had a fragrance. And so when I was using it on her paws, when I would run Ember, she would just start licking them. I'm like, well, I can't have her licking this stuff because charcoal is technically like activated charcoal, which then makes you throw up. And I didn't need that to keep happening.
Yeah.
So reached out to her and she's like, well, let's do some samples, and did some samples and got a dog line created. And that's... After every fire, I've got a water deal. So in case my fire trucks aren't there, I have a water tank that I just run and feed, and she knows the whole gamut now.
Wow.
I mean, anytime we go in any of those areas, at a minimum, the feet get washed off. If we actually did a search, she does get back in the truck. However, when I get home, everything comes out.
Yeah.
So the bedding that's in there, I actually wipe the whole cage down regardless, and the floor, and she gets a full bath with the activated charcoal, and then she gets the regular shampoo, like the oatmeal shampoo on top of that.
Have you ever thought about putting like dog shoes or anything?
She has those.
She do the whole...
No, she's fine in them.
She walks in them?
So had to teach her.
Yeah.
So go back. You know, it's not like a human. Just put it on and walk. And I can tell you to walk around with these shoes on.
Dogs with shoes is hilarious.
No, yeah, they do the high step. So started with one, actually just letting her smell it, and then started putting it on when she was laying down. Worked to 2, then just went straight to 4. She's fine. But remember how I was saying firefighters love to flood floors and everything? Well, the issue I was having is when there was over 3 inches worth of water in the floor and she would take a step, it would fill in the boot, and now that caused a distraction. No, now she's distracted. So now I've taken the workability out and she's trying to do self-care and remove herself from this element. There are times when hot concrete, if we're doing something outside, trying to find spent shell casings or something in the summer, I'll put them on because I know she's not going to go in the water. Areas of combustion that we go in, I just do a quick run over with a magnet of the areas that I know that I need to be putting her in, and looking for glass and sharp objects. I do have people there that are, including myself, that are training first aid and stuff. So we have a canine casualty care course, which we put on, also with Memorial Hermann. So we sponsored inside of our organization for canines. So how do you take care of them? Puncture wounds. It's kind of like a human, but it's different on how you have to do tourniquets.
Well, their legs are triangular, right?
And it's like, where do you do and how do you
use rat tourniquets?
Yeah, so I have those rats and cat tourniquets.
Yeah.
So I like the rats, but there's special ones for dogs that we use. And then how would you come up and help me when she's so protective of me?
Yeah.
So working with muzzle work. So put a muzzle on her, reward her. I know I need to make sure she can get a muzzle on and stand a muzzle. Training that now, those steps. I know it needs to be on her and she needs to be able to wear it. How do I get her nose in this? Treats, put it on, off, treat.
How does she like the muzzle?
She's okay with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But longer than, 20 minutes, she's, every dog trying to get it off. But back to the booties. Yeah. She's fine with wearing those.
What other kind of specialty training? Like you talk about like the medical side to take care of the dog, how to train the dog, what the dog's job is.
Yeah.
What other kind of stuff have you had to do for this?
So there's, the certification every year. So we have to do that. And that's usually done in different places. Again, outfitting your vehicle.
Is that a written test or a practical application?
It's her.
It's her test.
Yeah. So she's tested. So it is a handler canine
test. But it's your responsibility then, right?
We're certified together. So if you were to take her, you're not certified. Even though she's certified, y'all aren't certified as a team. So you have to be certified as the team. So not only, I would say it's like 90-10. 90% Ember, 10% me, and how I react to her and acknowledge what she's doing. So doing those tests every year, and then you do quarterlies throughout the year, plus all the other testing, cages for a truck, a leash in every vehicle that I've got, a toy in every vehicle I've got, a water bowl in every vehicle you got. Now I have to have backup in my work vehicle. So I have a policy that says that if I'm out and the dog's in there, this is where the leash will be. This is how you access her and getting her out of the truck. If I'm in a wreck, this is what you need to do on getting, and I'm hurt and I can't get to her. This is what you need to do. This is this is where that equipment is. I have a spare cage that sits in the back of the truck that if something happens, the cage is be deployed. The dog goes in the cage. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that even goes on your over and above and beyond your daily duties as a firefighter, a fire chief, an investigator. I mean, there's sometimes I don't pull her out on fires and we're there 4 and 5 hours. I have to have food in every vehicle that I go. So I rotate her food every month. So I have a to-go container for her in every vehicle.
How many vehicles do you use?
I have a personal vehicle and stuff. So
a typical duty vehicle, but
I only have that one, and I have a reserve at the station. It doesn't have a cage, but my plastic crate will fit in there. But I have a bag that then has everything in there. So I'm not removing everything out of my primary unit and I'm just grabbing the bag and putting it in a reserve vehicle, and that has basically everything. Yeah, so it's a big Arctic bag, and go from there. But my personal truck, again, cage-ish, bedding in there for her to lay down, toys, water bowl, spill-proof water bowls.
You feel like a dad again?
Man. I wouldn't trade it, man.
A mom and a dad again?
Yeah. I wouldn't trade it though. It's been very rewarding. I mean, I love seeing her learn. She's just become an extension of me. I don't feed her human food, which is rare.
Most of our human food's shit anyway.
Yeah. She gets really good food.
That's awesome.
She was sponsored by a veteran, 25-year Navy SEAL. So
really?
Yeah.
By who was that?
Mike Ritlin.
Okay. And what was that sponsorship for?
The food.
Oh, okay. What does he feed her?
It's Team Dog.
Team Dog. Yeah. It's like raw meats or something?
It's I'd say processed, but it's not really processed. It's like, it's high fat, I mean, they're made for these working dogs. So it's not, it's got a good set of protein, but Ember's 64 pounds. I mean, if I told you I fed her like over 3 cups a day, you'd be like, there is no way you feed her that much food, but
they just don't
burn it off. Don't stop all the time. Run. So
if you could have been given some advice when you started as a canine handler, what would have been useful?
Don't be the fire chief when you do it.
Yeah.
No, but back
one hat at a time.
Yeah. I think that question is a little hard for me to answer because I've been around dogs and I've done this before, but I would say for her is that
maybe not necessarily her, just like as being an experienced canine handler, if you go back to when you first started and you're like, shit, I'll take this on.
So
like what lessons have you learned that you wish it would have been good advice to have received?
You're immediately not single. You immediately have a kid and you didn't get that time to prepare really. So if you're selected by your organization, they've got a dog already, or you're getting one in a month and a half, it's a lifestyle change. I was first living in an apartment and I had a attached garage, and that's where I had her kennel.
Apartment life's hard on a milk.
It was, but I moved out of that pretty quick.
Was
for
that
the dogs.
because of her?
No, just other things that had happened.
It just worked as well. Yeah.
Okay. And so, it's not cheap, and just be prepared to replace a lot of stuff. We lose stuff all the time. I found toys. I mean, I can tell you I've spent thousands out of my own pocket on toys.
Really?
To find the one or two that I know really work, and you pay dearly for them. But
it's never the cheap toy, is it?
No. I mean, I'll tell you, one of them's like $45. Next one's not much cheaper than that. But I now have found that, I've had them for months and months and months. It's like you're finding that quality. You're going to go through all this and you'll be like, I just bought all this. And she's got like 20 dang collars, and they're all different colors. And, the camel, the OD, the red, the pink, the blue, Tiffany blue, limited edition, it's, I accessorize my dog, man.
Spoiler.
It is a lot, and I guess with the advice, it's just like, man, it's going to be 180 degrees if you think that you're running and doing something at a whim, on a whim to whatever you want to do. It's going to change because now it's just that constant 2-year-old mentality of a dog that is just there.
Yeah,
and again, you're their whole life regardless.
It's like being a dad.
Yeah. When it comes to a pet, you're just kind of like, get in the cage. You're there. You go to work and you're back in 6 or 8 hours, and they're like, oh, hey. I'm the reverse of that. I don't get that break. But when I sleep at night, and she does sleep outside a kennel, she will do both. Sleeps next to the bed on a thing. She knows when it's bedtime. She's spoiled. She gets a pillow. Don't judge. On the ground. But it's always there. You hear that clickety clack of the nails every once in a while. I know when I need to start trimming them. But her nails. Yeah. Yep. But following you down, and it's like, I just need a break. They don't understand the break.
Yeah.
You and I would, and be like, hey, I need a break from you.
Yeah.
You're like, all right.
And my wife says it every day.
Well,
I need a break. I'm like, yeah, me too. Don't get a dog.
Don't get a dog. Yeah. So it is a lot. So.
What's the fire career been like for you? How have you like?
Man, it's been crazy. I'm saying in my organization, you were a part of one, I would say similar, but more, I would say, defined at that point. And the structure was there. I came into one that was kind of rough on the edges. A lot of stuff happened with the prior administration, so we were having to write
fire
that
service.
back.
Are you talking
fire service? Okay. Yeah,
at Manor.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
I'm just saying it was rough from the prior administration and just trying to keep the district afloat. So and then busting your ass on getting classes done, and because you're basically getting shoved into things that you're like, I don't know if I'm ready for. Okay, yep, here I go. And you're a firefighter and you're going, and your whole policy book, I'm sure is, your one now is probably 1.5 inches thick, where ours was, 8 pages. Don't fuck up. Don't get hurt. If you get hurt,
don't tell anybody.
Yeah, don't tell nobody. Blah blah. Yeah. And it's like, okay, I did a lot of stuff. Not probably. I did a lot of stuff I probably should have died from. I have lots of friends that are very high up in organizations that we did a lot of stupid things, not as getting in trouble. We were very proactive, not in a safe way, going in fires where you're just going in yourself, and you didn't have that other crew, and you're one person standing outside making sure the pump worked, and then you're calling them inside by ringing a bell because we didn't have radios that actually worked. We actually had bells on our bunker gear. I mean, it was
another era.
Right.
Yeah.
And back in the day, and I'm sure when the time frame that you were in the fire service, and if you looked out to the east and you referenced, the Manor Fire Department back then, but, we're 100%, 1,000% better now, I'll tell you that. But you're probably like, wow, that was the wild east, or wild west further out east. And we did a lot of stuff just to make it happen. I mean, we did everything we could for the community with what we had. We didn't have a lot, or a lot better now, and better off, and having a lot better equipment and the correct equipment. And then that changed in about 2010. I know that doesn't seem very long ago, but going up, and you're a firefighter and you're like, oh, the driver's sick. Well, I ain't never driven. Okay.
Until today.
Today is day one. I was today years old when I learned how to drive. No, you were driving, but then you hit that siren and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
What's this?
That puts a little lead in your shoe, doesn't it?
And
I'm
you're
supposed to go faster now.
Well,
let's do this.
Truck, you're really
exciting.
But and so then you're like testing for engineer, driver, whatever you want to call it, and then you keep looking over to that right seat, and you're like, man, I want to get over there. I want to get over there. So you finally get over there, and then you look to the left seat, and you're just like, I should have went back over there and should have stayed there.
This sucks.
I still look at the left seat. I don't even have a left seat, but I'm in the left seat. I look back at that.
Just happened to drive, run that pump and drive the truck. That's the perfect
most underrated position.
The engineer.
That is what I would love to go back to do.
Yeah.
Doing. And then you get up higher, and the lieutenant and captain, and then you get all this administrative role, and you're like, I just want to come put out fires and help people and do this and that and change tires, get cats out of trees, which you do. And
with a hose.
With a hose. You ever seen a cat skeleton in a tree?
I haven't.
Me neither.
They
get
must
down.
climb down.
Yeah. So and then you get pushed from chiefs in other time frames when an assistant chief position comes open. They tell you apply, you just appease them. You tell them no 4 times when they offer it to you, and then you finally accept it. A lot of lessons come from that too. Don Smith, no relation to me, was a fire chief for ESD4 and retired from Austin Fire Department. He put a lot of confidence in me, which I didn't really see. I still don't see, but still my friend to this day, and my only mentor in this whole process of the fire service. I never had somebody to look up to going through the fire service. And I know that sounds kind of odd. If my whole family's law enforcement, all but one, he works for the fire marshal's office. So he is law enforcement and fire, but strictly fire at that time was like, I didn't really have anybody to look up. I was like, I just want to do a service to the community, and that's why I did the fire service. But, he pushed me a lot and pushed me along, and here, you need to do this and you need to go do that. And I'm like, why? He's like, you just need to go. He changed a lot of thought processes that I had and how I viewed the service. And he told me what I basically, he's like, this is what you have to offer. And I'm like, I don't see that. If I sat down and put it on paper now, I do the same stuff to my assistant chief and my battalion chiefs. I do the same thing, and they actually call me out of it. They're like, you're Don Smithing me. And I'm like, you're right. Yeah, I do believe in them. Yeah. And I had somebody to believe in me, and I didn't really at that time believe in myself and what I was able to now do. I'm at being the chief and have been the chief for 14 years. Well, 10 years as the chief and 4 years as the assistant chief. And what our team is able to accomplish, what we've been able to do. I mean, we serve just under 100 square miles, working on our 5th station right now. In 2010, we were 7 people in one station.
Wow.
In one frontline truck. And now we have 5 frontline apparatus, battalion chief, full battalion on every shift, prevention division, full admin.
The growth is just it's incredible.
And it helps. And you got cities that support you and the community that support you, and that helps too.
Does the Manor city support you guys pretty well?
On some things, yeah.
They have a city council, and what are some of the issues that you guys deal with the city?
I'm on my 4th, at least my 4th or 5th change, 100% change of places.
Of
Let's call places. Yeah.
Wow.
I've just been there that long.
Yeah.
They either don't get reappointed, or new mayor or city manager comes in, and I don't have a playbook, and I joke
Do you
with
feel
my
like you're restarting
chief,
every time? Yeah. What is it that you're needing them to help you guys? Is it just budget? Just need more
they don't
budget?
They don't do
budget.
We do our own budgeting, so we're fully separate from the city. So we have small cities that we protect. So Weberville and City of Manor.
Yeah.
We fully encompass them. So we're their service provider for fire service and first response. It's I think sometimes it's just understand what we do. It's not we just put out fires, and what we do for the community, and smoke detector programs and unlocking cars and all the, we're doing a sensory thing for children in our fire department this week, to where we don't run sirens. We turn off all the sounds for autistic children.
Like there's areas in the city that you won't run because there's autistic kids?
Like they usually don't come to our stations because of all the loud noises. So we're busting out sirens, all the speakers. Yeah. That's a trigger for them. And so we set up the stations where we turn off all the radios. Somebody wears an earpiece where all the doors remain open so they don't slam. There's a whole bunch of things that we do to do that for the community, for a group that doesn't usually make it to
the firehouse,
because
to do a tour,
right? So we do the tours on the trucks, and we actually disable the horns and stuff like that, so they can't even hit them. There's a lot of things that we do like that, and then the prevention side that's big. I mean, we're trying to protect. I know we do about 138,000 in our full district. City of Manor has about 15,000, 18,000. Weberville about 1,000, but it's just protecting them, and that's important to me and
businesses
my crew.
Or people,
yeah, just anybody that lives there, anybody that commutes through there, and then continued training. I mean, it's the fire service has evolved, although 150, 70 years ago, you may not think you're still putting the wet stuff on the red stuff, but there's other ways to do it safer, that we can save property and lives and give back to the community in that way.
Where do y'all train at? Do you have your own training facility?
We don't have one yet. It's in the process. It's part of one of our master plan complexes. We're getting the administration, logistics. We have a logistics division too that handles all like the vehicles and apparatus and station maintenance and supplies, and then the operations side. So we're building that part out. We have 10 acres right off of 290 in Manor city limits that we're working to put a facility on in the back. But we do use ESD2s. We use Round Rock Fire Department, Leander. I think we've used them in the past. And then ESD 11. So Travis County Fire Rescue, Travis County ESD 11. So they have those facilities that we do, but then we also like, how can we give back and stuff like that? So we put on classes. You do advanced learning, leadership development. We bring in people from the outside that, sit with you and what do you want to accomplish in your career? How do you view X, Y, and Z? And it does help me. I even sit in that I'm able to use that again in my own organization, not just that individual using it on me of what my goals are and stuff, is then, making sure that I'm helping everybody meet their goal. Even if it's not with us, I want them to do what's best for themselves and their family. That's number one for me. Yeah. And if it's not with us, how do I help get you there? I've had people that say, I don't really want to do this anymore. I want to do nursing. Okay. What do I need to do to get you there? Can you stay here and we get you through school? And then you go, or what, how can we work?
That's awesome, man. Most places, the moment you show a shred of looking over to go somewhere else, like you're immediately ostracized.
A lot of places are that way. I don't see it that way. I feel that internally, there's something that's not clicking for them internally inside the organization, not internally inside them, but the organization. I want to know why, and maybe it's something I can fix really quick, or maybe they're just like, I just want to be closer to home. There was a thing, the shift schedule. I bet when you were on the truck or whatever, it's 24/48. Well, they
had a big vote for 48/96.
They're on it now. A lot of drama over there.
I know.
We're actually under a test process for that, or a testing period for a year. We started January 1 to the 48/96. So we put a lot of parameters on that. I said, well, I'm willing to do this, but we're going to monitor all these things. I think there's 12 things, use or abuse of sick time, apparatus condition, maintenance and operation. Yeah. There's a lot of things that go into that. It's not only, I want to do what's right for the employee or the team member, as I call them, but also I am a manager and I need to manage a department. And so if one of those things goes up, use and abuse of sick time, why? If our maintenance and operations going up, meaning we're breaking vehicles, why? Are we not checking them every day because you think your first tour, for your first 24, you're not having to check it the next one, but then the next person says, well, I'll check it tomorrow. And now you have 3 days worth of something.
I'm familiar with how that happens.
So those things that we monitor, I feel
What have you noticed? Has it been working for you? Have y'all been able to spot any trends or really evaluate the information?
We had to pull back some of the projects that we gave out to the battalion chiefs that get put down further. So from assistant chief, we're still there Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, sometimes longer, most of the time longer. But those projects we were given to a battalion chief, I don't see them. Sometimes it'll be 2 weeks, a full week, and then the following week is when I finally see them or we're able to meet if we're not doing it remotely. So you're working the 2 days, but then you're off 4.
It's a big
and then
gap.
You're back. So you're working on a Sunday and back the next Saturday, and I don't see you. Yeah. If I'm not there by shift change, I don't see you.
So you feel like the pace of work has kind of slowed down?
It does, yeah.
Because of the 4-day gaps.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially if they take 48 off, they're gone from work for 10 days.
Right. And yes. And so we actually had to talk about that too, is that's in the policy, is the no 72-hour rule. So prior to that, they could work a 72-hour 3-day shift.
Okay.
I removed that as part of I don't have a union, so I'm or a collective bargaining or anything like that. So I would say fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, but I feel that I have with management side, me and my assistant chief, relationship with the operations crew, I think is very good. I mean, I may be mistaken, but I feel that when we do the wants, needs, and necessities on stuff yearly, that necessities is non-existent anymore. They're like, hey, we want all this, and we kind of need this, but it can go to a want, but we don't really need it. So here we go. But
well, I would want the firemen to have all their needs.
They do,
right? And they should.
Yes,
right?
They do
To get the job. They need
the
their
necessities
needs.
for sure.
Yeah.
And when we first started doing that, I started doing that about 7 years ago. Man, that column was packed. I'm like, oh man, I'm not doing something right.
Yeah.
But help me help you. I've made a mistake, or I haven't been communicating correctly, and we need to correct this. And next year it was like less than half, and the following year, nothing. Then the following year, I think it was 1. I think my assistant chief would correct me, 1 or 2, and then 4 or 5 in the needs, and then the wants was just. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, prioritize this over here.
Netflix in the station.
Prioritize this over here, and then we'll start getting that stuff for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think it's working out. We got a review on that coming up, on how it's been working. I haven't seen any increase in the sick time and stuff, but the 72-hour thing, they with the group that was part of that committee, they kind of like, well, I don't know, they'll go for it. And I ran this to show them why I felt that the 72 would not be working, because what it would be is the 72, 24, 72, 24, 72, because, I care for their well-being. They wanted the 48.96 for their well-being. So I'm trying to take care of their well-being. But in the beginning, it was a big, no, we want to do the 72s. But you complained about doing the 72s when we were 24, 48.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's because I was only working really 1 day, and I took the extra 2 days.
Yeah.
But now I'm only wanting an extra 1 day, and I'm like, it doesn't work that way. But I want to make sure your well-being, that you're getting the sleep and all that, your recharge, that is a big component of this 48.96 down, and that you're mentally sound.
Yeah.
So
talk to me about leadership. You seem like a good leader. You really, you seem like you got your finger on the pulse of the guys. Your concern is there. And talk to me about what have you learned about leadership?
Well, that's a stumping question. I would say.
Do you have a style? Do you check yourself? Like, am I being a good leader in this moment? Or what do I need to do
I would say
lead
it's like a 360 review of even myself. It's with my assistant chief, where am I failing for you? If there's something that's not getting done, what did I do that, did I not provide you XYZ? Did instructions not clear, or require it too fast, whatever? I mean, pretty much that's gone. And when you say about leader, I appreciate it. I got a lot to learn. I am honest with my guys. I have fucking failed a lot. I have fallen on my face. I've eaten crow, but I admit it to them, and I share my failures. And I think that I don't know if you say a leadership style or whatever, but I will tell you that if I fail and I share that with them, it builds that camaraderie. And I don't fail to fail purposefully. But even if I'm working on something, I share it with them, saying, hey, this is what I'm going for. This is what I'm doing. What do y'all see that I am missing? I have been out of operations, quote unquote operations, physically doing the boots on the ground firefighting work for 14 years.
Yeah.
Now I'm still around operations. I do operate inside the fire department on fire scenes. I have all the training they have. I don't utilize it all the time, but it's tools for my toolbox, especially, if they get this, I'm like, oh, I need to get that. I need to understand what they're doing. I feel as a team member that is tasked with more responsibilities as I am, I need to understand what they are doing or are not doing. And when they're asking for things, why they're asking for those things, not just saying no, or no, not right now, or I need to know a little bit more about this. But I think I want to empower people to want to take my job. That's important to me. And I go back to the Don Smith. I didn't have a mentor, and a lot of these guys, I'll say there's a select handful that have been around with me through this. I say the process with Maynard Fire Department back in the day, and we stuck out a lot. We're not a like your department you came from, we don't have that 25, 30-year depth of that structure. That structure wasn't there. And when everything was falling, like literally we had $30,000 in a bank account and I couldn't float payroll and truck payments, had to sell trucks. And so when I'm saying you had to get your shit together or get off the pot, some people like, this isn't for me, and left. And I had individuals, some from the department you came from, that stepped up and said, here, I believe in you. I'm going to help you out. And some of them stayed, and we're still friends to this day. And that from that department. And, they're like, I give you a month or 2 months or 3 months, turned into 3 or 4 years. Hey, just be my third person. I need 3 people. Then it was 4-person staff. Just be my 4th person. All right. And I think I keep everybody says, remember where you came from. I keep a picture on the wall that when I come into my office, it's right there on the wall before I start heading down the hallway. It says Manor Volunteer Fire Department. It's just a metal building. That I look at that every day when I walk in. That's where I came from. What we have now is everything that we've done together and we've built together, and everybody should be proud of it.
Yeah.
My mom always says, you're so successful. And I'm like, I don't see it. Just like, Ryan, you've done, this and this and this. And I'm like, I met opportunity. I was there at the right time, right place. She's like, don't sell yourself short. I mean, I downplay it because I don't feel that, you say that stuff, about leadership, and everybody has their own style of leadership, and you can get up and preach about leadership. Those people may do it. I don't know. But if you're in the audience and you hear about the leadership and you're like taking notes, it's what you do with that stuff.
Yeah.
And apply it. So I want to take my lessons learned regardless of what I do. Police department, fire department, canine handler, personal life, is just take that and be like, what did I learn? And share that if I need to share, and not just be like, hey, this happened, blah, blah. But, especially with my fire department is just, and the police department when I did patrol, is, sharing my experiences when I was, clearing cadets and stuff, is talking, hey, we're going to talk over this. This is what happened to me. I'm just letting you know so you don't make the same mistake, or just file it away and that Rolodex, whatever you do. And if it comes up, be like, hey, that jackass told me I wasn't supposed to do this and that. But it's a constant learning and trying to push myself out of my comfort zone, because if you're in your comfort zone all the time, you're not going to learn anything. It's the same thing I tell my assistant chief. He's going to kick me for this, but didn't like public speaking. I'm like, now you're going to be public speaking.
Yeah.
Put him in front of, small
do
places.
The thing you're bad at, right? Yeah.
But I'm going to help you. I'm going to sit in the front row, and when you get confused or you're feeling a little unnervy, we're going to have a conversation. He's like, well, I just stop. And no, you're going to keep talking what you're going to talk, but you're going to look at me, and we're going to be having this conversation. Don't forget about everybody else.
I'm going to blow a kiss at you.
And so then work your way further back in the audience. Yeah. And then I don't even go.
Does that help him? Yeah.
He still doesn't like it, but he's like,
a
lot better now.
Public speaking sucks.
It does.
I don't like it either. It makes me nervous too. Oh man, I had something I was gonna ask. I wanted to ask, what's next for you? I mean, does Ember, does she have more time than you do with the department? Is she gonna go to another marshal, or
on paper I can retire in 3 years?
Okay.
With my service time, that'd be, I think, at my 30 for qualified for our retirement system. I would like to keep working with her. She's got quite a few more years.
What's the normal age range for the dogs? Working
service time, like 6 to 8. Okay. Because the downer part of this conversation is she's just going to get cancer. She's going to die because of all the carcinogens she's been smelling.
Really?
Well, going in the fires.
Wow. Yeah. Have they noticed that of the dogs? Yeah. No.
So, kidding. I mean, we're always on air packs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they're not. And I just told you 40 to 50 times greater smell than us.
Wow.
no respirator. However, I'm keeping her in there that short amount of time. I did partner with a local vet that allows me to have her in a program that they do internships. And so they run all the tests on her. So I get those for free. But I'm able to monitor that every few months. So I am lucky to be able to have friends like that that own these
When do
facilities.
they start seeing tumors? Or?
It depends on the amount of work. And we get, I would say on a busy month, about 15 call outs. The majority of those are not in our district. I would say like a...
So do you service kind of all of the Austin area? Does Austin have their own dog?
Austin has a dog.
A dog?
Yes.
Okay.
I think they may have gotten another one a month ago, but their dog is Jaja. Ember and Jaja were in the same class. And so me and Jaja's handler, we stay in contact. And there's another one in San Antonio that came through the same facility. So they have one. They don't share it as relevant as as prevalent as we do. And then the Travis County has one, but I don't know how much they do. But I partnered with other counties and then other fire departments that have cities inside their department. So if say like where you came from, ESD 6, they have some small cities. So I use her in those cities. Mm-hmm. However, I always try to have the state notified first because that's a resource that when we talk about, they don't have a quota or nothing, but it helps with their numbers and then such. So if it's a county that doesn't have a fire marshal or whatever, but the fire department's one, I'd say call the state first. And if the state's able to go, then they'll call me and say state went, or they say no, they weren't. I'll get that person's usually I know all of them from the state. I'll call them and say, hey, I'm just letting you know they called me. Go, and they're like, that okay. They're like, I can't get there as fast as you can, or, I'm 7 or 8 hours and here I'm 30 minutes, 40 minutes and just go. And, so it's a good working relationship through all the ignitable liquid or accelerant canine handlers throughout the state. So
nice. What are you going to do after fire?
I have a online business I do a little bit of stuff with, but
what's your hustle?
Just tactical stuff. So
really?
Yeah.
Like
it's
what?
Just stuff for police departments. And
you're being shy.
Yeah.
Why?
Why do you... it's just because it's just a little thing I do on the side.
So you making holsters? You make
no. I just so the bigger companies, like say Company X, it's around here is pretty big. I don't want to throw their name out there.
Okay.
So I carry a lot of the same products they do, which is I buy them from the same people, but I just don't do the markup. So I don't want to rip off a fire department or a police department. So I get the same product and I sell it for way cheaper.
Nice.
And I'm able to equip agencies with the same product, but cheaper, and allowed more product to be purchased. So say it's like ballistic vests, which we do sell. Company X will sell, say the vest is $500 or $600. Same vest I get from the same company, but my markup's not 66%. I'm just doing 12 or 15%. I'm not here to get rich off of, but
is it mostly individuals, or are you doing like city contracts?
I've done a few cities,
okay.
So even outside the state of Texas. So it's very sporadic, but I do support a few of the associations like Texas Fire Marshal Association and IAAI, which is the International Association of Arson Investigators, like with product for their
so you set up a
meetings.
business and started buying things wholesale and selling them without the markup to undermine the big guys that were selling it with the markup.
It's the same product. I carry a lot, meaning I have a lot, and some of them I get just drop shipped. I mean, it's whatever I want to make off of it, meaning if it's...
Are you selling on Amazon, or you just have your own website?
No, so some of those, I have a website. Well,
you don't want to say?
No.
Okay.
It's so I can't, so a lot of the agreements you can't sell on Amazon. So there's product sale and then map
Some
pricing.
companies don't want their stuff on there.
So with map pricing, minimum advertised price. So say the product, costs me $80, but the map pricing set forth by that company says it's $125. I cannot have it on my website less than $125.
Yeah.
But you can come to me, I can sell it for whatever I want. I just can't advertise it. So
the advertised
I have
price.
people, right? So I have people, they're like, here, you pick what you want, you let me know. Don't purchase it through my website. I mean, we'll still buy it through the company, but don't buy it from my website. I can get you an invoice. Again, I buy it for that. I tell you, I bought it for this. There's 15% on top of that plus shipping. What if they charge shipping? That's you, not me.
Yeah.
And then if, I don't do card processing, stuff like that. So I'd say it helps. I've never paid myself out of that company. I've had it for 4 years.
Nice.
And so it's just sitting there. So it started at LLC and everything. So
you going to grind in with that when you get done? Or?
Potentially, yeah. I'll probably ramp it back up. Because again, in being, I say tri-certified, EMT, police, and fire, it's those people I've already dealt with. And now I'm like, hey,
it's your network you already have. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. And
probably
got an email
within
list.
Their own network, they're all reaching. Yeah. How'd you get that for $80?
Yeah. And that works. And it's the word of mouth. We do advertise stuff, Facebook and some stuff, but it's word of mouth really. It's, trying to get the newest, latest and greatest product in an officer's hand. Some of them, they're like, oh, the department won't buy it. Okay, well, here, I'll sell it to you. I don't do any unregulated stuff, but
sure.
Any regulated serialized stuff, but everything else I do.
That's cool.
So.
I've thought about doing something like that, just trying to create a side hustle. I was going to do mostly survival stuff because one, wouldn't be bad to just have a whole lot of it on stock.
I do some of that.
But it's like, it's a topic that I'm interested in. And so buying things, checking them out, film a little video of using it, whether it's good or it's bad. If it's great, I could, create a website or post it into it. I know Amazon has a lot of affiliate.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of, is that what vloggers do?
I think. I
don't know.
Well, blog is just typing. Vlog is video.
Video, right.
So
I thought vlogging was, I guess you could talk about anything in a vlog. But
yeah, I do. Yeah, we do. That was actually one of the first products that I started selling. Well, I did ballistic vests and then IFAKs because police departments, again, safety, me coming from the medical background and safety, I'm like, do you not have an IFAK? Some newer kids
like,
be like, what's that?
You call me fat?
No, IFAK, an individual first aid kit, and they're like, no. And I'm like, well, we need to get you something. And, and then working on policies with the police department that I was with, helped create the policy for that it's all the same bags, same place in the vehicle, blah, blah. And do you carry one on you? And, all this stuff that was important to me. And when you said talk about the cats and the rat tourniquets, teaching the difference between those two, they both have great purposes. But it's a little different in the personal use and getting those in the people's in hands and having police departments actually run through how to use each of them and, doing those classes for them. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
We need this one over that one or that one over this one. And this is why. And I'm like, I really would have both, but this is the one I would use. And this is where I carry it in my pocket right here, my bellow pocket. I have a pouch on my vest. Those are mine, not yours. So when you come up and, you better have yours on you so I can use it on you, because if you're going down in that situation, I have the potential of going down and I know I need to save you, but I need to save me too.
Yeah. Use their equipment on them first, for sure.
And then got that whole department with those. So that's when you're talking about first aid and safety and, that stuff, I was like, I really honed in on that and getting, I didn't stock all that stuff, get just drop shipped and it's passed through and selling it way cheaper than other sites were.
Nice.
That was the big,
for sure. Fuck them.
Yeah. Kind of
we'll get it ourselves.
Drop my cards down in the big box store that I was talking about. And I'm like, oh,
that's awesome.
What is this guy?
You saw demand. You're serving your friends.
Yeah.
That's what you should, again, leader.
I meant when you are in, I guess, a position of purchasing, you're like, I can't do it for my own organization. I can't. But I can for another fire department.
You can't.
I have.
Oh.
No, I can't.
Okay, I can see.
So I don't sell any of the product.
They won't let you do that.
No, I can't personally
manage the managing the budget for the city and then buying from your own company.
Right, can't do that. So
illegal. I see how they.
So I can't do that at all. And I filed the form with my department. Says this is my company. Nothing will be ever bought from it. Blah blah. But is being able to take said product and then be like, here, and then that other department's like, hey, like I said, where'd you get that?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, there, I can get it for you. It's not the guy that I would get it from. I buy.
So you just need one buddy at AP or at AFD to set up his so that y'all can buy from him.
Quite possibly.
Yeah. There's your loophole.
Hey. I mean, I'm sure that's been done in the past. I haven't done that, but I'm trying to keep my nose as clean as possible.
I understand. Don't do anything I ever tell you to do. That's a good way to stay out of trouble. Oh man. There was something else I was going to ask. Anything you want to talk about? Anything? Yeah.
No, I know that Brianna came over or we reached out. I know y'all are in Jollyville and stuff. So went and reached out about, hey, you need to have, I think the owner's dog is that Pinscher.
Oh, okay.
I was like, you want a working dog on some stuff? So they came out and did a photo shoot on our fire station, fire truck, and Ember, and they gave her a vest and nice. Training vest and some collars, and gave all our guys some shirts and stuff. It was a good visit. I guess it was just not something that they were normally like, oh, fire department. Something different than military and all the shooting stuff all the time. And
sure.
So they had a good time, and I appreciate them coming out and the constant contact with them and such. So I don't remember exactly when they started. I know, it had to have been around 2008 or 9. They came out with a coin. They had the skull on it, and I was like, oh, I got to do that. And so it's like, hey, I looked up, y'all are, in the Austin area. Can I send you a coin? And I'll send you one of mine. And I got it, and then I just started following them and stuff like that. So I appreciate all the stuff they've done for us.
Yeah, man, it's been a cool venture. I don't know what all they've been doing. I know they've been doing a bunch of stuff, but they reached out to me about the podcast, just getting guys in to tell their stories and kind of talk about their lives and what they're doing. I was like, fuck yeah, I'll do that. That sounds awesome.
Well, I was like, I'm not an interesting person, so I don't really know what I would talk about.
Highly. I think this was a very interesting conversation, working with arson and dogs and catching people burning shit, and that was super cool. I think if I had gone that route, that would have been a really awesome place to land in the fire career, is to be doing what you're doing.
Yeah, it's its own niche.
Yeah,
where you can do police dogs, but it's that gray line between Fourth Amendment, not Fourth Amendment, where you're walking them. I can take Ember anywhere because it's not immediate like a accusatory.
Right.
Odor.
The perception from police to fire is very different. Being a fireman, everybody pretty much likes you. It's very rare that we would have confrontation.
Well, walking like this, as you see me sitting here, I do carry a gun because our peace officers in our department do. Ember does wear, when she's working, it has a police canine vest on her. We just actually got approved for a grant for a ballistics vest.
You don't give her a gun, right?
No, she doesn't carry a gun, but knives she will.
She's a terrible shot.
Yeah, she's a terrible shot. It just bounces everywhere. Yeah. Yeah. So, again, she's an officer, but it is a lot of work, and I commend everybody that does it. And I would highly suggest those that want to do it, reach out to those that do it and pick their freaking brain to make sure that it is right for you. Because the worst thing you want to do is get three months, a year into it, a dog's attached to you and learning all the bad habits, and you go, I don't want to do it anymore, and you basically blue falconed your next partner.
Yeah. What would happen to a dog in that? Do they jump trainers pretty easily, or is that a difficult process?
It's difficult.
Because that connection's real for them.
Right.
Right.
I would say if Ember and I had to separate and got a new handler, it'd probably be, hard on me, but it'd probably be pretty hard on her for quite a while. Mm-hmm. I would have bet if you're not very in tune to your dog's not going to be very in tune to you.
Might not be as bad.
So I would say it's a range.
Yeah.
But I would say that there's more good handlers than
Do you see yourself sticking around to finish her tour out, to be with her?
I would like to, yes. So in one capacity or another. So I want to continue doing investigations and such all the time.
Yeah.
So
that's cool, man. Well, I've enjoyed the hell out of this. Thank you for coming in and sharing your story with us, man. I guess normally I'd ask if you want to share your Instagram whatevers, but I guess we're being kind of...
Well, no, my dog has it.
Oh, let's share hers then. Yeah.
It's the canine.ember on both Instagram and Facebook. Yeah.
Nice. Cool, man. Well, thanks for coming in, dude.
Yes, sir.
This is great.
Yeah, appreciate it a lot. Yes, sir.
Stay zero.